Hello everyone, I want to say a few words briefly for new people who are not familiar with me or my work at all. At the end of November, something unpleasant happened. Zelensky and Yermak set the security service of Ukraine against my mother, who lives in Ukraine, and because of my opposition activities, they started persecuting and literally repressing my family. They put her under nighttime house arrest. The case is now being sent to court. I will tell you more about it later so that I don't repeat myself completely. If you're interested, I strongly recommend that after watching this video, I'm leaving a link here now. Go and watch the beginning, how it all happened and what was going on there. But today I want to move forward and slightly lift the curtain on the justice system of Zelensky and Yermak, just to give you a small glimpse of how things are happening in Ukraine right now. That moment when our leader sat with Lex Fridman and other Americans, claiming democracy was present, reforms were done, the country was nearly in the European Union and law ruled. He said he was a super democratic president. So how did it start? Again, I'm just briefly revealing what I can say. My mother shared a repost of my stream and video. They had to come up with something. It's like under Stalinism here. If there's a person, we'll invent a case. And they conducted what's called a linguistic examination. And right away we ask, who did it? Which organization? There is such an organization, it's called Kanisei, and for many, many years it had a director whose contract was only just not renewed starting from the beginning of 2025. Apparently he had already done his job, fulfilled all his agreements with Yermak and Tatarov, and they let him go on his own. But the examination for my mother and for many others, for Dubinsky and for other political prisoners, I'm sure, and for Chervinsky, everywhere there's some kind of examination. I heard about Pyarkov too. Everywhere it's this Alexander Ruvin and this Kanisei, which is a monopoly. And they just churn out examinations manually on order from the authorities they serve to persecute all political opponents. Right from the start, I recommend to you, even though they're not my friends at all, like Baivas, but at one time, I think it was 3 years ago, they made a huge, almost hour-long video. I'll show you the cover here now, you can find it yourself, where they laid out everything about this Ruvin very clearly. This guy, you could say, for decades was making money in our country on illegal things, basically ruining people's lives, most often innocent people. And now, when his contract wasn't renewed, so he could keep running this organization, some media outlets started publishing again how much property he owns. I'll display this on the screen, but first let's review it step by step when you look him up. Here's a 2021 news article. The family of Kanisei director Ruvin owned real estate and cars worth tens of millions. By 2024, the war is underway. Last year, he was selling positions in the customs leadership. The National Anti-Corruption Bureau of Ukraine sent the case of former chief forensic expert Ruvin to court. Next, again, 2024. The court arrested the head of Nisei, Ruvin, in the case of selling positions in customs. He can be released on bail. And here is the latest news. The head of the main Institute of Examinations, Ruvin, has been removed from his position. His family was found to have a multi-million fortune. And if you open this up and take a closer look, I don't think you'll be very surprised. Millions, Range Rovers, multiple apartments in Kiev's elite residential complexes. Not just cars, not just a Range Rover, a Mercedes-Benz G63 Aufrecht Melcher Grossaspach or a Land Cruiser. That surprises no one. The guy has an Aston Martin. The guy owns an Aston Martin. I'm sharing this in America with the right people. Do you think Americans can imagine a government official driving an Aston Martin? Comment your thoughts. It's generally seen as bad form here. That's for young people or some information technology guys, but Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy and Trump don't need an Aston Martin. That's old news. But you see, when these greedy people get access to the trough of corruption, to this feeding frenzy, they absolutely don't care that they're ruining the lives of innocent people, that they're destroying Ukraine. All of this is actually working, it's sabotage against Ukraine, all this activity, and nobody cares at all. But they've been declared patriots, they're allowed to live in Ukraine, and their parents aren't touched. And these people can't get to me because I'm in America. They targeted my family for reposting my video. That's all their conscience permits, or rather, they have none. That's just how they operate. I won't discuss Ruvin for long. Watch Biggis's video, find those articles, and see the horror Ukraine faces. Now, let's continue. When my mom was put under nighttime house arrest back then, well, it happened, and that was that. Of course, we immediately filed an appeal, and just recently the appellate court took place. Who was the judge? I didn't interfere, pressure anyone, or influence the court. I acted properly and followed the law. Someone named Ryback. So we go to Google and in a second, 2024 an article, literally a month before they went after my family. Luxury real estate and an expensive car. How a Kyiv Court of Appeals judge hides his luxury. It also says he persecuted Maidan activists, including me. He's even listed in the Mirotvorets database. Imagine, a judge in the Mirotvorets database. Naturally, a bunch of real estate, of course, lots of everything, houses, cars, all of that is clear. Everything exactly like this Ruvin. What do you want to say? This is the third time I'm telling you. I'll only share what I can. When I get the green light from the lawyers, I'll tell you the whole story. That there's an entire team working just to persecute political opponents, and all the executors are exactly the same people. Some even get promoted, currying favor with the regime and believing they're safe because of it. I'm not saying that this judge personally dislikes me. I'm sure he knows there's no guilt. Maybe deep down he even sympathizes with what I do. I get that he got a call and was forced, but it doesn't change anything. We lost the appeal on the preventive measure because the court session was pointless. Everything is known in advance. They have a ready-made group of judges, all of them for cracking down on political opponents. That's why I don't have any complaints about the executors. That's all clear. Replacing them now won't change anything. They'll just install the same ones. I've lived most of my life in Ukraine and understand the system well. Right now we're talking about the country itself, about where Zelensky and Yermak have led it. And they know all of this, and they're in charge of all of it. They're overseeing all of it. But what's the point? Yanukovych, for example, the one I stood against on Maidan, never hid the fact that he was a dictator, that he had an authoritarian style of leadership. He never pretended to be a Democrat, that's how he described himself. And everyone knew that about him. And basically everyone understood those rules of the game. If you didn't accept them, the consequences were clear. These guys, on the other hand, pretend to be great Democrats, fighters for democracy, and claim that now Ukraine is fighting Russia for the sake of democracy. No, Russia, a large totalitarian regime, attacked Ukraine, a smaller totalitarian regime that was just beginning when the war started. But the war gave these scoundrels free rein to the extent that you see today. Have you read what kind of law Zelensky signed? Mass media and bloggers must remove comments criticizing authorities within 3 days or risk being taken to investigators or court. So you basically need about 10 people monitoring 24/7 to ensure nothing negative is written about Zelensky and only praise him. This is like Kim Jong-un in North Korea. Now about the next steps. The case has been sent to court. When the main hearing takes place, of course, I will ask you to come again. It's now scheduled for my registered address in Fastiv, not Kyiv. I'll update you later and ask as needed. I got a call from someone familiar with the case who said, I remembered during Maidan I had a transportation business in Kyiv. Dozens of vehicles around the city. Kyiv, of course, there were always cars in the city center. You told all the drivers back then, well, you told the managers to pass it on that if there were activists who needed to escape, to give them rides for free, take them wherever they needed to go, and everything else. So my business could have suffered, I could have suffered, lost money, all of that, and back then I was just a beginner entrepreneur. All of that was obvious, of course, and people would come up to me back then. I've told this story many times already. When I had a Ukrainian flag on my jacket, right here in the zipper, the flag was woven in. People would come up and say, don't walk around here at night with that flag because there are titushki here. Here, it's pro-Russian anti-Maidan around here. And now today, I'm in political exile against this regime. Even though I stood for something else, democracy, the rule of law, and pro-Ukrainian values. Today, they are persecuting, making up cases against my family. A friend just reminded me of this. I don't know, maybe someone will have the conscience or something else. Maybe someone will want to come to court, maybe say something, maybe show something, or maybe, of course, everyone has forgotten everything. I'm okay with that too. I'm just saying it because it's relevant to the case. But if you think that today it's me, and it won't affect you because you keep your head down, I'm a troublemaker. I got involved and shared my opinion. You're wrong. Why? Because you should study history and dictators, how they behaved. Today they target the most active people first, the instigators. And this is all classic, it's a technique, it's all clear. But then it gets to the second, third tier, and then just in random order. By chance. You'll get caught up in it if you don't resist the regime today. And when I say to subscribe, to like, right now, for everyone who's interested, I'm asking you to subscribe to the Telegram channel. I'll be posting more there and the information will be more up to date. The link will be in the description. Please subscribe. If it's hard for you to move your left finger for 10 seconds to repost or comment, to write or like, or to send some video or important post to a friend, comrade, or family member, then don't come to the comments and say, "This is outrageous. North Korea, closed borders, people killed, no leaving your house. This is the result." Why am I in political exile? Because in 2022, initially they didn't do that, but later, seeing where it was going, I told you Zelensky is like Stalin, and calling him Stalin now seems too mild. This guy went much further. That's the story for today. If you don't know the beginning, go to the video I mentioned. I'm waiting for your comments, subscribe to the channel, and give it a like. Thank you. Bye.